And the statistics are revealing something different. It is happening to a lot of people.
Right.
Sexually transmitted diseases, impregnation. Yeah, I mean, abortions indicate that. You know, and of course, to me, some abortions have gone down. You can see some of the statistics sometimes where abortions seem to be going down, and I wonder how much Plan B has had to affect that.
I don't know. That's a good question to look into that. But, the other thing, real quick before we go to break, is the fact that this is condoning that. It's also saying that, well, if you have had unprotected sex, if you take Plan B, everything's all taken care of. Plan B will not test you for a sexually transmitted disease.
No, it will not. All right, guys, 571-2428, 571-CHAT. Maybe you're not concerned about these issues. Maybe you are. We'd love to hear from you today on Just Ask Joyce. We'll be back. Don't go away.
WFIA, The Spirit.
Congratulations, Louisville. This is Steve Arterburn, and for 50 years you've been blessed with a radio station in your community that has helped spread the good news of the gospel and help bring new followers to Jesus Christ. It's an outstanding achievement, and we're proud to be a part of WFIA's past, present, and future. From all of us at New Life Ministries, happy anniversary. And join me weekdays at 1 o'clock for New Life Live right here on WFIA, The Spirit.
Do you have difficulty driving at night? Do colors seem faded? Do you see glare and halos around light? Cataracts occur when proteins clump together in the eye's lens and interfere with light passing through to the retina. This causes a progressive clouding of the eye's natural lens, resulting in blurred vision and sensitivity to light. Not sure if you have cataracts, but your vision seems to be getting worse? Trust an eye specialist for your medical eye exam. Dr. Hyder is an expert in cataracts. He will fix your cataracts and give you the option of getting rid of your glasses. Listen to what his patients think.
Dr. Hayter is excellent at what he does. He's a great doctor, and more importantly, he's a great human and a man of good faith.
It feels like a shade was removed from my eyes. Everything is brighter and clearer.
Call today and schedule a consultation at the Louisville office or Elizabethtown. 2 offices, 1 great vision. Call today, 502-883-1015. That's 502-883-1015.
Control, this is QL1. Everything looks good on my end. Prepping for liftoff. Over. One more thing, QL1. What's that, Control? You've been talking a lot about Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans lately. What would you say is the best reason to use it? Well, it's completely online. It's easy to use. You can get approved in minutes. It's convenient. You can share your pay stubs and bank statements at the touch of a button, so you get real numbers, not estimates. And hey, QL1, I asked for the best reason. Yeah, go ahead and pick one. Anyone. That's tough. They all sound great. I think you're finally getting it, Control. 3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button. Get mortgage.
Rocket.
Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
How's everything taste tonight, folks?
Oh, it's excellent. Where was it raised?
As a chef, it's important to know where your food comes from. That's why we buy local and Kentucky-raised food.
My boys are the 10th generation to farm in Kentucky.
We take a lot of pride knowing that what I set on the table is a good product.
And we're proud of the products that we produce. You're getting an excellent quality product.
We believe in what we produce. We feed it to our own family, and we're happy to share it with your family. Kentucky Farm Families.
Feeding Kentucky, feeding the world.
Sponsored by the Kentucky Agricultural Development Fund.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-423-4557. That's 1-800-423-4557. 1-800-423-4557. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
You're listening to Just Ask Joyce on WFIA, The Spirit.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We are talking about many issues that face Americans today. And guys, these issues we need to be taking stock of because we have the right to change some of these, or at least to kind of slow them down a little bit. I think I pointed out in the first hour that we're on this kind of accelerated course. We're seeing a whole lot of moral issues being defined much differently than we've ever heard them defined before. And now we are looking at a point in our political history where we're going to have another Supreme Court justice appointed. That is why our vote at the polls this year, this November, is so important. And this is why I bring to you someone like Garrett Sivaking, a political analyst, strategist who knows his facts, who understands the political arena much better than a common layperson like myself and you. And we need to be taking account of what is being presented. I know that some of you are probably not in agreement with my view on, how you should maybe vote at the polls. I think probably I've not hidden that too well. But it is my opinion. And I am not here to tell you how to vote, but I am here to present the facts to you in a fair and balanced type way through Garrett. How'd you like me? How'd you like that?
Yeah.
So, when my opinion weighs heavier, I always pass the buck to Garrett because he keeps it more fair and balanced, perhaps, than I do. But you have to understand, I am very opinionated. But I feel strongly about our values. I feel strongly about protecting our children. And I feel like, and I like to think that I would be a person who would look at the individual and assess who I felt like is the best candidate. And I feel like I've done that. I feel like I have done that, and so I have come to this one conclusion. And but anyway, Garrett, I want to go on because we've talked about this Plan B, yes. And we should be concerned. It is redefining even. It's putting a deeper nail in the coffin, if you will, for abortion. It really is.
Well, and like I've said it before, it's a very detrimental issue to health in general.
Yes, in general.
And
these are your daughters.
Yeah,
people.
Exactly.
These are your daughters, and many states, you don't have to have the parents' permission.
Right.
I mean, I was just looking up the statistics. I think it's like 21 states or so. You don't. And trust me, we have seen it bleed over, and it will be in every state.
Yeah.
It'll be in every state. We know that the states' rights have been usurped already by SCOTUS.
Well, and these two pharmacists were very concerned in the sense that should they be forced as owners of this pharmacy, the law provides for a religious freedom clause in the sense that it says if you as a personal pharmacist do not wish to sell the drug, you can have another pharmacist who's willing to right. sell it. The issue is, of course, these two gentlemen own this pharmacy in Olympia, Washington. Mm-hmm. They're the sole pharmacists at this, and they neither one want to sell it.
And they don't. Since when? What store can you walk in? I don't care if it's a pharmacist, if it's a clothing store, I don't care. There are some stores that do not carry everything.
Right.
They don't carry everything.
Yes.
They get to decide what product they will make available to the public. And here they are saying, you know what? You will make this available to
yes.
anyone who walks in. Now, at some point, we have to say, oh, do you have that? Well, okay, when I go into a store looking for a product, maybe it's for something to cook or whatever. Mm-hmm. If they don't have it, I'm going to go to another store. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go and call out the owners and say, I demand that you get this in here. I'm going to file suit against you. And I can't imagine that a court anywhere would uphold it. But when it comes to something as critical as our health issues that clearly damages women, does it sound like they really have women in mind? Does it really?
I know.
It's an oxymoron to me.
I know.
And these are our daughters and our granddaughters that will get this in their hands at some point. Why? Because we are lowering the bar every day. We are lowering the bar because our voices are squelched. They have put duct tape over our mouths. We no longer count. 571-2428. If you have some comment, love to hear from you.
WFIA, The Spirit.
Celebrate recovery at Valley View Church every Thursday night. Have you tried it yet? Well, give it a try this Thursday night. Celebrate Recovery is a safe place to get real about your hurts, habits, and hang-ups without fear of judgment. You don't have to walk alone. Join us on Thursday nights with dinner at 5, a large group at 6, small groups at 7, and coffee with friends at 8, with free childcare for kids grades 5 and under. Celebrate Recovery at Valley View Church, 8911 3rd Street Road in Valley Station. Last year, Class Act Credit Union members saved over $400,000 by financing their car loans at the credit union. And they can help you, too, with rates as low as 1.99% APR on new or used cars. You'll even get a free $100 gas card with any car loan. Get pre-approved first to be sure you get the car and the loan that best fits you and your budget. Apply online today at classact.org or call 964-7575.
1.99% annual percentage rate offered on 2012 and newer models. Terms up to 60 months. Includes all available discounts upon approved credit. Rate subject to change.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisements. Services may not be available in all states. Attention women. New evidence shows that talcum powder products such as Johnson & Johnson's baby powder and shower to shower may cause ovarian cancer. If you or a loved one used talcum powder and were diagnosed with ovarian cancer, call 800-401-3160 right now. You may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Recently, Johnson & Johnson was ordered to pay $72 million in damages to the family of a woman who died of cancer she said was caused by the company's talcum powder. The jury found that Johnson & Johnson knew that these products could cause cancer and failed to warn consumers. If you or a loved one used talcum powder and were diagnosed with ovarian cancer, call 800-401-3160. You may be entitled to cash compensation. Time is limited. Call 800-401-3160 now. Our toll-free phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-401-3160. That's 800-401-3160. 800-401-3160.
Connect with Southeast Christian Church in the Louisville area through our weekly Southeast TV broadcast, Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. on Wave 3. Episodes include powerful testimonies, community partner profiles, and messages from Pastors Dave Stone and Kyle Eidelman. We think you'll relate to the stories, be inspired by the teaching, and feel more connected to our community and to Jesus. We hope you will join us by tuning in Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. on Wave 3 for Southeast TV.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn. Join us for New Life Live each weekday. Real people, real issues, and real answers.
I've been listening to you for about 4 years, and I've been blessed richly.
He is one of many people that we deal with here. Broken, twisted, disturbed.
How can I disagree and not be disrespectful?
When the Bible talks about repentance, it's not, okay, I'm sorry, I won't do that again.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Right, and people get fooled by that all the time.
New Life Live, weekday afternoons at 1 on WFIA, The Spirit. You're listening to Just Ask Joyce on WFIA, The Spirit.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Election Selection 2016. We're talking about a lot. You're being a little quiet today, but you can be. As long as you're getting educated, informed, prepared, I'm happy. And we are talking about some of the SCOTUS rulings and decisions that have been made and rejections even. But, Garrett, we were talking about Plan B, and it kind of segues beautifully into the Texas abortion issue that SCOTUS has ruled on. And I had just said before we went to the break that the states' rights no longer matter. And they really are. It's happening time and time and time again. It does not matter what a state votes with their people's vote. It doesn't matter. If the Supreme Court justice decides that, it's going to be overturned, it's going to be overturned.
Yeah.
And that's the danger that we are in, because we have too many liberal-minded Supreme Court justices on the bench. Am I wrong?
Well, I would say, and this is...
You'll probably phrase it differently and much more kindly.
Well, I will raise it in this way. Number one, and this is not... I agree with you, but I think that the word liberal has been hijacked by leftists, and that's part of why you have... These really are leftist judges, which is different. I have a lot of respect for a person who is liberal, and in fact, a liberal person is more someone who is conducive to others' beliefs other than their own. That's when it switches from liberalism to leftism. And this is what this article is this is what this case is all about. In the sense that it infuriates me as someone who works in healthcare in addition to my business in politics. This decision was based on a 2013 Texas law that stated that you had to be abortion clinics or other outpatient surgery facilities. That includes plastic surgeons, oral surgeons, any outpatient testing facility, that they would have to be held to the same standards as any other medical facility in the state of Texas. Therefore, the provider, the physician or whomever, would have to have admitting privileges at a hospital within proximity to the clinic, which means that they have the right to go into a hospital and take their patient with them. That they would be held to the same sanitary standards.
I think that's fair.
As any other.
I'd like to know that they should.
And the same administrative standards, which, by the way, includes HIPAA, because there really are no regulators that come in and check and make sure that your HIPAA rights, which, by the way, is a law, which is a legal privacy right, a constitutional privacy right, is being upheld at these facilities. This was in response to Kermit Gosnell, which most of our listeners are very up to date.
Should be very familiar with that.
On but I will do just a quick summary of the sense. He was a West Philadelphia abortionist who was convicted of heinous crimes. Yes, of heinous crimes, including to murdering babies on the operating table, full-term babies. Also, the death of 2 women.
Yes.
One of which is the sanitary purposes.
It was okay to murder the babies, but when the women got murdered, that was too much.
And this was the sanitary purposes. The one woman died because he was found to have been reusing utensils in the operating room, which is...
Without sterilization,
yes. Well, without it all. I mean, they didn't... It did not do anything with them. Right. They just reused them over and over again. He should never have had a medical license. And there are some reports still to this day, it's really not confirmable that he did he actually have one.
Yeah, I've heard that he didn't.
But. Because he did have it suspended at one point in time for other sanitary reasons before he was even practicing abortions. This case was made all about abortion. I mean, the ruling for the case
from the Supreme Court
was 5-3. And it held that the Republican-backed 2013 Texas law placed an undue burden on women exercising their right under the U.S. Constitution to end a pregnancy, established in the court's 1973 case of Roe v. Wade. Of course, that is one of the things that many of us are sitting here going, oh, really, do you have a constitutional right? This opinion states that it does. But my biggest problem is, of course, I am pro-life, 100% pro-life, because I've worked in healthcare and I see it. But on this case specifically, this was more about sanitary purposes, admitting purposes, and others. And a lot of what lobbied against this law, both when it was trying to be passed and again when it went to the court, were big medical corporations who were saying, we don't want any more regulations on our facilities. We already have so many regulations. We don't want any more regulations. There's a bill in New York right now called Jones Law, which is named after Joan Rivers. The law would state these same procedures be held against outpatient surgery facilities, just as the Texas law did. Remember, this is not just abortion clinics. It's all outpatient surgery facilities. But because of what happened to Joan Rivers, because the doctor was not in proximity with admitting privileges to a healthcare facility, she died waiting for ambulatory transport.
Right.
And on top of that, of course, even more egregious, the physician took a selfie while she was under sedation.
Yeah.
For a basic procedure, a test for an esophageal tear due to acid reflux disease.
So will they step in and try to...
Well, those same special interests, the same big medical corporations who fought that are fighting this law in passage in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa Rivers, her daughter, is trying to get this law not only passed in states but in the U.S. Congress. So a lot of the same opposition will be there. Of course, I don't think the abortion opposition, it may be. It depends on how the bill is going to be worded in its passage.
Are they just screaming, too much regulation? Is that what they're trying to do?
That's what those medical facilities are, but at the same time you get this piggyback argument that states that, I will sacrifice safety and cleanliness as long as I still have my right to quote unquote choose. And that's an issue.
It's so, I keep saying it's just oxymoronish, because they say these are, they're fighting for the women. They're fighting for the women, but it doesn't feel like they're fighting for the women if they will lessen the standards of medical protocol.
Right.
And that's what they're doing. I mean,
yes.
A hospital would never be able to do that.
No, it would never get away with it.
No.
Never get away with it.
And then, we're with all of the healthcare harangue that we've been put under lately. I mean, we're seeing that it's more and more difficult to get into your doctor's offices or your hospitals. So a lot of people are going to these little,
or going overseas.
Or going overseas, yes.
Yes.
But a lot of people are going to these little clinics and stuff. And so if they, it seems like a digression.
It does.
I'm sorry.
Well,
and it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit.
We cannot sacrifice the safety of public health workers, and as well as the patient, and as well as the provider themselves, to protect a right that has been established here.
We haven't done the polls.
Yeah,
we promised them we were. The last segment, we'll come back and we'll give you the polls, because it's something you should listen to. Don't go away.
WFIA, The Spirit.
Imagine a vacation specifically designed for your spiritual growth and enrichment, along with 5-star accommodations, beautiful scenery, historic sites, and a community of people committed to you having a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Join us this fall on a 15-day all-inclusive Mediterranean cruise with Pastor Alistair Begg, and visit thrilling stops in Naples, Jerusalem, Rome, and more. It's the Footsteps of the Apostles Mediterranean Cruise. Come and experience sites like the Sistine Chapel, the historic Western Wall in Jerusalem, and the beauty of the Isle of Santorini, all during one trip with like-minded travelers. Register today to sail the pristine Mediterranean waters and luxurious accommodations, and follow in the footsteps of the apostles to Athens and Ephesus. With special guests and resident teaching Pastor Alistair Begg, this cruise is sure to be inspiring and refreshing. The Footsteps of the Apostles Mediterranean Cruise is happening September 22nd to October 9th. To register, visit footstepsoftheapostles.com. That's footstepsoftheapostles.com.
You want to feel connected, informed, included, inspired. So when important things happen, we're here. Your local radio and TV broadcasters. America's #1 source for news, weather, and information on your radio, TV, computer, tablet, and smartphone. We are broadcasters, always here for you, wherever here may be. Tell Washington local stations matter by texting radio to 52886, furnished by NAB and the station. Message and data rates may apply.
It's a tale as old as time, a visual spectacle you and your family won't soon forget. It's Disney's Beauty and the Beast, and it's now playing at Derby Dinner Playhouse. This Broadway musical is filled with unforgettable music, stunning costumes, breathtaking dance numbers, and a story that reminds us love can conquer all. Be our guest at Derby Dinner Playhouse and join Mrs. Potts, Lumiere, Belle, and all her friends for Disney's Beauty and the Beast. Call 288-8281 or order online at derbydinner.com.
You're listening to Just Ask Joyce on WFIA, The Spirit.
We're going to get to the polls, but I have to remind you, you don't want to miss Tuesday, July the 5th show. You don't want to miss that because we are going to be live at the Ark. The Ark Encounter, it opens July 7th. We're going to be there for the ribbon cutting on the 5th. So you're going to get to hear from some of the people, a lot of the people that had anything to do with this. It's going to just be a thrilling show. So make sure that you tune in for that. And Garrett, we have to get to these polls because I promised my audience, and I always stand by my promises. So,
well, I had a lot of emails about polls. We had a lot on Sunday where we had a poll that showed Hillary Clinton was up by 12, and I gave a summary on Twitter about that. The fact that when you break down that poll and add in the two independent third-party candidates, that it goes to Hillary only up by 1. So that's very deceiving to come out with a headline.
Very deceiving.
With her right on top. But there was a poll out today by Quinnipiac, which is a university in Pennsylvania, and it's a pretty reputable polling.
Yeah, you've told us about that
situation. The poll shows when it's just the two of them that Hillary Clinton has 42 and Donald Trump has 40. Too close to call, well within its margin of error. Now, when you add in the other two candidates, it gets even tighter in the sense that Clinton has 39, Trump has 37, Johnson has 8, who's the Libertarian candidate, and Jill Stein has 4, who's the Green Party candidate. There's two things to read about the differentiation there. First of all, Hillary Clinton is getting hurt by third-party candidacy more than Donald Trump. That's a very interesting factor in the sense that I believe that those who had already decided to vote third-party instead of Trump have already done so. I don't know that it's exactly growing so much. I think independents will be making that decision. We'll talk about that in real quick. But the other thing is that Clinton is still not solidifying her Democrat base. Bernie Sanders voters are tending to lean to Jill Stein from the Green Party. The other factor that plays into is this going to be with the fact that we have two major party candidates who are so unpopular in the polling. Because even people who say they support them, 57% say they don't approve of them. Is this the end of the two-party system as we know it?
Could be.
And it very well could be. I think that this proves that at the very least, with polling ranging from lower digits to upper, double-digit polling for Gary Johnson, and the same thing, 5% to even 10% in some polls for Jill Stein. This proves that all 4 candidates should be in the debate. I think that that's very clear among the people, and I think that the decisions by especially independents will be between 4 candidates. And I've said that all along. I think this is going to be a 4-person race because these are 2 people who just obtained their third-party nominations. And they're really just now getting out. There's a lot of interviews. They're really hitting a lot of the shows. But, which, by the way, all 4 are still welcome. I've put out those interview requests, and we're going to continue to. And so we welcome all 4. I know. But I think that people will as it gets closer. I think that you're going to see a lot more media involvement by all 4 candidates. They're going to have to. The indecision is
definitely
massive.
Need to reach out to the evangelical community, both of them, to a bigger degree than they have.
Oh, yes.
Even though, I think you brought out that Trump has done that more aggressively than
far more.
Hillary.
Far more aggressively than Hillary.
But, I guess, I don't know. I have my suspicions of why, but, I'll keep those to myself.
Well, yeah, and this poll is even more confusing in the sense 52% believe Trump is going to be best at creating jobs, yet 52% also believe Trump is more effective at handling ISIS, yet 51% believe that Clinton would be better to respond to international crisis. 46% trust Clinton more to deal and send troops overseas, while 44% trust. Yeah, like 44% trust troops.
Did I say that?
It's 54% believe that Clinton would make the right decision regarding nuclear weapons. 46% believe that Clinton would be better at getting things done in Washington, but 52% believe that Trump will be better at creating jobs. These numbers prove that people are undecided in these races. And so what this also proves is it's more important for you to get out and vote. Because a lot of people haven't made their decision yet. A lot of people won't make their decision until Election Day.
Well, I just get this sense that a lot of people have resigned. They've just resigned. It's like, can't change anything, so I may as well just not go to the effort to vote. I think they have just resigned. And I think that it is a very dangerous place to be.
I agree.
With the course that America is on. I pray that we have brought some of that to your attention today. Guys, I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Great shows on schedule. In the meantime, I'm in battle for his cause.
The Spirit, 94.7 WFIA FM New Albany, Louisville, is a service of Salem Media Group, online at WFIAFM.com. Focus on the Family is sponsored by Focus on the Family on WFIA The Spirit.
I'm Jim Daly. Blair told us how God had captured her heart through a Focus on the Family radio program about adoption.
One program that they played one day resulted in my son having a family. It is a horrible thing for me to think about, my son not having a family or me not having him for a son.
Help us help orphan children find forever homes. And when you donate to Focus on the Family today, your gift will be doubled. Call 800, the letter A, and the word family.
Now, we want to reclaim politics, of course. We want to reclaim economics. Of course, we want to reclaim the media. Praise God, it should all be used to honor His name. But the key is to realize that the way you change the world is to be the love of God in flesh, even to those we disagree with.
Well, last time we heard from Ray Vanderlaan about ways that we can apply the mission of Jesus to our own lives and live out a life of love and compassion on a world that so desperately needs to know God. And Ray is back with us again today on Focus on the Family. Your host is Focus President and author Jim Daly, and I'm John Fuller.
Man, I don't know about you, John, but did you learn a few things last time? Yeah. I mean, man, I was going, wow, just that comparison to the Caesars and how they were coronated, and then Jesus, and it's just amazing. I learned so much. I love the way Ray teaches. He pulls things out of Scripture that most people miss. And Ray has been doing tours in Israel and other places of the New and Old Testament for many years with Focus on the Family. And we have, of course, produced with